FSA today. They shared that on Thursday at 8:30, they're doing their poetry slam. So the kids have been practicing public speaking and practicing getting up in front of, of course, in front of their classmates. And so they'll be presenting their poetry slam at 8:30 on Thursday. There also will be an art walk at 10:15 and a rocket launch at 11. So if you are in town and you're able to pop over, take a good look, because there's some great things happening, and I'm sure the kids will be excited to see you. So that's it for today.
Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time, we will hear public comments related to items on the open session agenda, as well as non-agenda matters within the board's jurisdiction. Speakers are allotted up to 3 minutes each, with a total of 20 minutes for a particular item or topic. While the Brown Act allows the board to hear issues within the jurisdiction from the public that are not on the agenda, it only allows the board to respond in a very limited manner, such as providing direction to staff. If the board were to have more than this type of brief discussion on an item not on the agenda, it could be a violation of the Brown Act's rules for posting the agenda. To address the governing board, members of the public must have submitted a completed speaker card to the clerk of the board before the open session portion of the meeting began. Trustee Moran, do we have any speakers?
No, we do not.
Thank you. It is recommended the governing board approve the amendment to the contract of employment with Superintendent Monica Hazel of Superintendent of Schools. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. Any, a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments? No? Well, I will call for the vote. Trustee Goldbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Favela?
Aye.
Trustee Moran? Aye. And Trustee Henson?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. With that, the motion passes. It is recommended the governing board approve all expenses be paid for Ms. Monica Hazel, Mr. Armando Farias, and myself to attend the National Association for Federal Impacted Schools, NAFIS, Fall 2025 Conference in Washington, D.C., September 14 to the 16th, 2025. Registration is $700. Total approximate cost is $4,000 each, to be paid out of the Superintendent Board and Business Services travel budgets. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. A second?
I second.
Thank you. Any comments? With that, Monica, can you share a little bit about the NAFIS, please?
Sure. Thank you. This association is a really important conference that we attend, and it's an organization that advocates for impact aid dollars throughout the year. And they have a national conference that they put on twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring. And we have been dedicated as a school district over a long history to attend in at least once a year in the fall, to be able to advocate for the continued financial support that Impact Aid brings to our district. Impact Aid is one of the budgets that is that's not a forward budget, and so every year the president's budget, it's one line item on the president's budget, and it can be one line item marked out. And so it's important that we always keep our senators, our congressmen, really well educated around what the program is, so that they continue to fund the program. And so what is interesting, or what we know, is that the way that our school district gets a big portion of our funding is through property taxes. And we know that the we have 2 schools on military bases, and the federal government doesn't pay taxes, property taxes on the houses that sit on that military base. But we have students from the base that we need that we welcome and we educate. And so the federal government recognizes the lost income from the property tax that's not paid for those, that is not required to be paid. And so we recoup and they give us funding to support that. Now, I'm going to ask you, what I remember hearing it was something like 10 cents on every dollar.
It's about 7 cents on the dollar.
So we definitely don't get full funding, based on the similar in the way that we do our property taxes. But even at 7 cents on the dollar, for us, it's a big investment that we receive every year for our impact aid. And it really allows us to provide the same level of education for our students on base as we can for our students that are in town. So it's just important for us to continue that advocacy. And it's an excellent, in addition to an informational conference, it's an opportunity. We go and we meet and we lobby and we meet with the senators, we meet with the congressmen, and everyone around the country does. So, we come from California, and then there's representatives from all of the states that are there to collectively advocate to continue this program. And Ray Proctor was the previous Associate Superintendent of Business Services, and he was actually a leader in the organization and always made sure that NAFIS and that the federal government was really aware of the needs of our military connected students. So we always thank Ray Proctor. He's passed away recently, but he made a huge impact on Fallbrook over the years. And so I really believe it is essential that we continue to attend.
Okay. So okay. All right. I will call for the vote. So, Trustee Henson.
Aye.
Trustee Moran.
Aye.
Trustee Pavella.
Aye.
Trustee Goldbeck.
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so the motion passes. Thank you, everyone. The next item is for information only. The California School Employee Association and its Fallbrook Chapter Number 307 initial proposal to the Fallbrook Union Elementary School District for 2025-2026 school year. In accordance with the Government Code Section 3547, the district is required to publicly present initial proposals from employee organizations at a public meeting. This process, often referred to as shining, allows the public to be informed about the areas of negotiation prior to the start of collective bargaining. No action is taken at this time. The proposal is being presented for information only and will be brought back at a future meeting for a public comment and consideration of adoption. Moving on to educational services. Ms. Tavka Bustani, Assistant Superintendent, Educational Services, will now be presenting an overview of the LCAP, local performance indicators, to the governing board for information.
Thank you, President McBride, board trustees, Fallbrook community, and esteemed colleague and board member. On behalf of the Educational Services Department, I'm pleased to present this year's local performance indicators. This report reflects the district's ongoing work aligned to the State Board of Education priorities and highlights our commitment to continuous improvement and student success. Tonight's presentation offers a snapshot of the progress we've made and the focused work ahead as we continue to ensure that each and every student in Fallbrook is known, supported, and thriving. In compliance with state requirements, all districts must annually measure progress on state priorities, report results at board meeting alongside the LCAP, and submit findings to the California School Dashboard, typically released in the fall. As a K-8 district, we report on 4 state indicators: ELA, math, suspension rate, and English learner progress. State indicators use quantitative data like CASP results and are displayed with color-coded dials. We also report on 5 local indicators based on district reflection, including surveys, forums, and staff input. Together, state and local indicators offer a well-rounded picture of how we, as a district, are advancing student success and continuous improvement. Tonight, I will be presenting on the local indicators which appear on the blue dials. These reflect the district's progress on key priority areas such as the implementation of academic standards, parent and family engagement, access to a broad course of study, and school climate. Just as a note, the California School Dashboard is updated once annually, typically in November or December, following the close of the academic school year. So for example, data from the 23-24 school year was released in November of 2024. And so for this year in 2025, our data will be released in December. But I promise you, I will provide you an academic update on where we are as a district as soon as the data is public. And yes, Trustee Goldbeck, we are excited to share some of our momentum. As part of the LCAP requirements, all districts must annually conduct what we call a self-assessment of progress on the 5 local performance indicators using rubrics adopted by the State Board of Education. Unlike the state indicators, which are based on state-reported outcome data, local indicators are a bit different. We rely on district-level reflection tools, stakeholder feedback, and locally gathered evidence. We call that more of the qualitative data rather than the quantitative data. To determine our performance level, we review a variety of data sources. As I said, needs assessment data, the scope of professional development, feedback from staff, and we conduct and we complete the self-assessment rubric. The district ensures that teachers are appropriately assigned and credentialed, and all students have access to curriculum-aligned instructional materials, and school facilities are maintained to be safe, clean, and fully functional to support teaching and learning. And we can say that we met these indicators. We annually measure progress in 3 key areas aligned to family engagement priorities: building strong relationships with families, between schools, staff, and students to foster trust and shared responsibility, establishing meaningful partnerships that support student learning and positive academic and social outcomes, and actively seeking input from parents and families to inform school and district decision-making. We also conduct annual school climate surveys, including Panorama, the California Healthy Kids Survey, to measure perceptions of safety, connectedness, and well-being. Data is analyzed by grade level span and shared during LCAP engagement to inform stakeholder input and guide continuous improvement. We take pride in offering a broad course of study that includes innovative programs like the May Ellis Dual Immersion Program and the Fallbrook Virtual Academy, providing families meaningful options to support the diverse learning needs, interests, and strengths of our students. At this point in time, we open it up for questions or feedback.
What's the biggest challenges you've had that we could help you with?
Well, based on the feedback that we've received from families, it's always the family engagement and ensuring that we provide meaningful workshops, training to support the needs of students at home. Some of the feedback we received is that they'd like more offerings that are at the site level, and we continue to find that parent engagement is an ongoing effort of welcoming families in. We have 4 community schools that are really focused on hearing from the voices of our families that aren't necessarily as engaged. So I see that as an opportunity for growth, but it is an area based on the feedback. We rated ourselves in a 3 in that area because we know there's room for growth. So we recognize that, and we have plans to ensure that families are more vocal, involved, and engaged in their students' learning.
Is that 3 out of 5, 3 out of 10?
Well, it's on a scale of 5, so we are a 3 in that area.
And when they say more in school, they want more parent-teacher nights kind of thing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, ironically, they show up to the family events. So whenever there is an event with a student, a performance, we have an auditorium full of families that will show up. So how do we maximize that time that we have with families while they're there and we have a captive audience? Perhaps to do a training on supporting students at home, perhaps to ensure that supports are there to build language, or to get more involved, or to build homework skills. So it's really maximizing that time. Parents, as you know, I'm a parent too, and I like to see my kids perform. But while they're there, how do we leverage that opportunity to get more involvement? So.
Thank you.
Good work, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on to adoption. It is recommended the governing board adopt the local control funding formula budget overview for parents/guardians for the 2025 school year. Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. Any comments? Okay, we'll call for the vote. Trustee Henson?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Favela?
Aye.
And Trustee Golbet?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Motion passes. Okay, it is recommended the governing board approve 2025-2026 local control accountability plan update. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Any comments? I will call for the vote. Trustee Golbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Favela?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Henson?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that motion passes. It is recommended the governing board adopt the 2025 Local Control and Accountability Plan, LEA Federal Addendum. Adoption of the LCAP Addendum is also approving the consolidated application for Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV, Part A. Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? All right, so I will call for the vote. Trustee Golbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Favela?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Henson?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that motion passes. It is recommended the governing board approve the California Department of Education consolidated application for the federal funds 2025-2026. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Any comments? I will call for the vote. Trustee Henson.
Aye.
Trustee Moran.
Aye.
Trustee Favela.
Aye.
Trustee Golbet.
Aye.
I also vote aye. That motion passes. Ms. Lily Perez, Director, Expanded Learning Opportunities, will now be presenting on the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, which will offer additional programs to our students outside of the regular school day during the school breaks and Super Summer Camp.
Good evening, Governing Board members, President McBride, Superintendent Hazel, esteemed audience, and last but not least, Cabinet members. I think our esteemed audience is out in the cloud. And one member. I'm Lily Perez, Expanded Learning Opportunities Director. I'm pleased to introduce my little team that I brought today, which is part of our ELO staff. They've been instrumental in helping us grow and expand our program. This year, in addition to their leadership roles, they have also taken on the vital responsibility of becoming trainers and coaches. Not only did we develop our own training modules, but this wonderful group of individuals here has also worked hand in hand training our 18 to 24-year-olds frontline staff, which is no easy feat. So I'm excited to introduce Mr. Dale Leonard, our site lead teacher at La Paloma. Ms. Rebecca Mosqueda is our ELO counselor. Mr. Josh Mills, to the left of me, is our site lead teacher at Mayellis, and Mr. Eliseo Hino is our site lead teacher at FSA. So we had hoped to bring students, but because it's summer, so it made it a little bit more difficult. So bear with us. Hopefully we'll be as exciting. And we do have a couple recordings of our students. This evening, I'm going to provide an overview of the ELO program plan. One of the most important things to know about it is that we also coordinate the ACES grant with the ELO program. And so as of last year, this plan has to work as one comprehensive program, serving all our TK through 8th grade students here in the Fallbrook district. The unified program is offered across the school sites in our district, ensuring access and consistency for all students and families. Per the state guidelines, the ELO program plan needs to follow the ACES requirements and the ELO program requirements, and it has to adhere to the strictest rule of either program. So for example, in ELO, we must have class sizes 10-to-1 for TK and K, and we must not be over 20-to-1 in our upper grades. So that isn't a rule in ACES, but because ELO has the stricter guidelines, we follow that guideline. Both plans require that before and after school programs must be offered to our unduplicated students, and this is probably the most important CDE role. Our unduplicated students fall into one of the categories of second language learners, foster, homeless, or low socioeconomic status. So our funding is tied directly to meeting those needs. And lastly, I wanted to mention, since its inception, the after-school programs in FUESD were known as ACES in reference to the ACES grant. So in 2022, we rebranded it to the FUC After School Program. That's why we're all in uniform. And that was accompanied by all the new guidelines and the significant expansion of activities, which we'll be sharing tonight.
Good evening. So what is the Expanded Learning Opportunity Program? It is a program with three facets or three aspects of it. The whole child focus. That means that we support the academic, the emotional, and the physical development of students. It's enrichment based, which means we complement the school day, but it does not replicate the school day. And we also provide extended learning opportunities. That's 30 days of additional non-school days where students are engaged. We provide some learning opportunities for them. And on this picture, you can see a group of students taking part in our Sea Life Spring Camp. Some of the key components that we have for the ELO program, we offer before and after school summer intersession learning opportunities. That means that some of our students arrive at 6:30 in the morning and they stay with us till 6 p.m. So we have to make sure that we create some fun, engaging opportunities for our students. Top picture, you can see some students engaged in art class. Then we have winter camps down below. And then the farthest picture down below, we have some art classes during spring camp too. So we partner with vendors to offer cooking classes, math, science, interactive assemblies, and sports, creating a truly special learning experience. In the following video, you'll hear from 5th grade students at FSA, and they will share some of their memorable moments at either the after-school program or one of the camps. So.
Hi, we are Juliana, Eden, and Nicole, and we attend Fallbrook STEM Academy. One of the best parts of our day is the after-school program. My favorite activity is soccer sticks because you get to learn drills and great soccer skills. And I also like cooking class because you get to participate and mix ingredients. And my favorite activity was art because we got to learn new things, make crafts, use pastels and watercolors. And one of my favorite activities was the camps because it gives the students who don't have a place to go during the break somewhere to go, and the field trips are really fun. We get to learn, have fun, and try new things every day. The after-school program makes after school awesome.
Those girls are hired.
Good evening. I want to briefly share how we prioritize physical and emotional safety in our expanded learning program. Our frontline staff is trained in crisis response, PBIS, and safety drills with strong support from our site lead teachers and assistant principals. We've also established a clear crisis response tree and conduct risk screeners throughout the year. Every site has an after-school safety plan specific to the program structure. On the emotional safety side, I, as the after-school counselor, provide small group counseling, crisis intervention, and individual student support, among other duties. I work closely with the daytime counselors, social workers, and school staff to ensure consistent and supportive care for every student. Our goal is to create a safe and supportive environment where students can thrive physically and emotionally. The top picture shows me with one of my small groups at May Ellis learning about the zones of regulation. The bottom picture shows the FSA social worker, Mrs. Moya, and I presenting a lesson to students in the after-school program.
And we are very grateful for Ms. Mosqueda's support of our school, our after-school program. And so we and the after-school program have a great opportunity. The kids are there for school, and we can help support them academically, of course. And so we support them in math, English language arts, and science. And we focus on skill development and literacy support to help them, and it's aligned with the classroom learning, and so that they can sort of support it in the regular school day. And we have hands-on activities that you can see some examples in these photos. In the top photo, you can see kids working on a hands-on project. And then in the bottom photo, we have a teacher at La Paloma who is reviewing sight words with kids. But to drill down a little more into the literacy focus, we have teachers who work after school and work in small groups to do read alouds and to do guided reading with the kids to really help them to build their skills. And so we used to be that in the school program, it was called, the academic block was called Power Hour. Well, and we restructured it and called it Genius Hour. And we have time for homework help, independent reading, and academic games. And really, it's great to see the kids engage. And here you see some of the teachers working with kids in reading aloud or in a small group, and really getting that personal connection, like personal touch, to help them grow and progress. And so one of the neatest things this year, we started having TKK aides. We all know that TK and K is a different realm. And so, we train them specifically on how to work with TK and K students. They have a special the classes. They're not just any other classes. They're TKK classes, and they have academic activities and reading activities and other things that hands-on things that are really specifically designed for that age group. So we're really happy about that addition. And in our case, in May Ellis, having our TK aid has made all the difference in helping that to be a great, well-oiled machine.
Good evening. Yes, student voices shape our program. We regularly use surveys and student forums to guide classes we offer, making sure students have a say in their learning and experiences. As a direct result of their input, we've been able to offer a wide variety of engaging and creative classes over the past few years. Some of these include jewelry making or beading, where students create bracelets, necklaces, keychains, and other knickknacks they can take home. We have had cooking classes where students learn basic cooking skills, where they learn to make snacks and meals for themselves. We've had music classes, including keyboarding and guitar lessons, as well as dance and the usual dodgeball, kickball, soccer, and other classes that kids enjoy. I want to specifically highlight two of our most impactful and popular classes. The first is esports, an activity that is not part of the traditional school day and offers students a unique opportunity to explore new interests. Esports in particular is so much more than just playing video games. Our program emphasizes the development of soft skills, such as teamwork, communication, and conflict resolution, that are highly valued by today's employers. Within the games, students must work together, strategize, and solve problems. Outside the game, they learn to navigate social challenges, build resilience, and show sportsmanship. What makes this program especially exciting is how it includes students who may not connect with traditional sports. And we're particularly proud of the number of girls participating in esports. This video is narrated by Mr. Ostrowski from last year's Super Summer Camp. Pay close attention to all the talking and collaboration going on between the students. It's wonderful.
Voice.
boys here are playing a 2-on-2 FIFA EA Sports. The girls are setting up a Super Smash Brothers tournament. 5 of them. So they're competing in a tournament right now. The boys are playing Rocket League, which is like soccer with cars. Got Mario Kart 4 screen going on here. A very intense FIFA game right here. Another intense FIFA game. And then another 3-player Mario Kart tournament. There you go. You see a lot of talking going on there. Another standout class is our hockey program started by Mr. Ostrowski. For many of our students, this is their first exposure to the sport, and it's been incredibly well received. We've seen students who started learning hockey skills in 4th through 6th grade continue on to play field hockey at both Potter Junior High and the high school. It's not a sport that's commonly offered in Fallbrook, which makes it even more special. From personal experience, I can say that the after-school classes have had a significant impact at La Paloma and other schools in the district, especially when it comes to reducing chronic absenteeism. These classes give students something to look forward to. Staff and myself have overheard students say that some have told us directly, that they come to school just so they won't miss their after-school enrichment class. And we've heard the same thing from parents to back that up. This kind of motivation and engagement makes a real difference in our schools. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this team. Thank you.
And building on what Mr. Leonard was talking about enrichment classes, we offer a variety of enrichment classes. Here you can see some examples. You see a science-based presentation, and then of course art, hands-on art, and a project that you wouldn't normally get a chance to do in a classroom because the materials or the resources necessary are the cooking classes and some of the hands-on art classes. It's very uncommon to see in a regular school day. But these classes offer kids a chance to get a taste of certain fields that they wouldn't maybe get a chance to get some art and science things, to give them new skills and new exposures. And back to what Ms. Perez mentioned earlier about the training. So over the past 2 years, we've been working on developing our own in-house training for frontline staff. And last summer, we offered the first one, and we worked closely with a staff trainer who specializes in preparing these trainings. And one of the awards and recognitions that the program received was because of what went into this training. And the county actually came and videotaped and made a feature about the training that we provided last summer. And so we trained 95 at the summer training 95 frontline staff, ages 18 to 24, specifically designed to help them not only learn the skills, but retain them so we can provide services to our kids.
Can I add on to that really quick? And one of the things that's important about this training is that we can't provide a training that we would for teachers because these are 18 to 24 kids. So it has to be hands-on, engaging, and as you can see, they're up. Actually, the next slide shows they're up and around, they're moving, they're talking, and they're learning. So we have planned 4 or 5, I think, sessions for this year. And now we've created a 2.0 training session for those employees that are returning.
And that will, the next training, and we always survey participants afterward to see how it went, and we implement the feedback we get to make it even better. So we had another training in the winter, and then now our next one is in August. So we're excited about this because we think it's really quality training, and it's helping a group that is constantly turning over, or frequently turning over, in that age group, and so that we are providing good training for them. So.
And we've had 4 or 5 who've moved on to become teachers or starting teaching programs. So those, we call them our bigger kids. They're also community members, so it feels good to be able to be a part of that. Collaborative partnerships. Taking over your slide here.
Collaborative partnerships are key to expanding our program. Our main partnerships are with the following: our families. We engage families as partners through shared events, open communication, culturally responsive support, and efforts to address food insecurity by improving access to nutritious meals. Our community organizations. We co-create programs with local partners to expand enrichment and ensure student access. This last camp, we were able to bring in pallets of food, fresh produce for all of our families by partnering with Feed Across America, which our school social workers heavily supported us with. District initiatives. We align with community schools and MTSS to provide integrated, student-centered support. Here are some more examples of our partnerships with local businesses. We have Panda Express, Yogurt Palace, Village Pizza, Baskin Robbins, and Sports Saints, and many more. This is a win-win for all of us. The students enjoy hot suppers and sports camps, while our local businesses are supported.
And we did implement hot suppers at Potter this year as a trial basis to see if it would increase enrollment, and it sure did. So every other Friday we provide hot meals for our students at Potter. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding to see our students excited about receiving those hot meals. Next is our program goals and quality standards. So how do we ensure that we're meeting the needs of our students and that we're actually meeting all our goals? So we adhere to our California quality standards for expanded learning. So every category we mentioned this evening was part of our California quality standards. And so we also adhere to our LCAP goals. The program goals reinforce academic achievement, promote our student well-being, as you've heard, and strengthen family and community engagement. Each goal is tied to an action plan, and then we have an ELO action team comprised of parents, students, teachers, administrators, and classified staff, where we look at the data from our goals and we tweak our goals if needed, and we revise them, and we continue to grow and evolve. So it's really good that it's been a really good process to have, getting all that input and community input and student input on our program. So this is my favorite part. We get to toot our horn a little. In 2023, we received an acknowledgement by the California Department of Ed for our innovative leadership in the program. In 2024, last year, as Mr. Mills mentioned, the San Diego County office asked if they could record our training modules. What you see below that picture is the best practices framework that we also developed. And this was just based on what we saw our youth or our young staff needing. And last but not least, we've been able to double the enrollment. In 2022, we had about 600 students in the after-school program. Last year, we had over 1,200, and currently we have 1,250 registered for next year. So we're hoping to continue to build on that. Lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to present just a short overview. There's a lot more to ELO. On July 8th, we'll start our Super Summer Camp, and you are welcome to come. I'll actually be sending invitations out. The program continues to thrive, driven by strong student engagement, improved attendance, and by the wonderful staff that you see surrounding me, and our office staff. I know they're not here tonight, but they've been also amazing. Lastly, I just want to thank our governing board, Superintendent Hazel, and Cabinet for your ongoing support. So now I have time for questions.
So, a point of interest, I think it'd be really interesting to track performance on learning outcomes for these students and to see if there's any measurable change. Are we doing that?
So Mr. Leonard and Mr. O started that this year just at La Paloma. So our plan is to push that out to our other schools because they did see a significant growth in the students who were coming after school and their test scores. So we do have some data, but we're hoping to continue to grow that, which is exciting for us. I know
what we've seen so far is really an effective tool to raise those scores.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. How long has the program been going? Is this the second year or?
So this is the third year that ELO, or Expanded Learning Opportunities, has become part of the after-school program. The ACES grant, or the ACES program, I think we've had it over 15 years in our district, but it was much smaller. So.
And have you considered, or because of your training has been really remarkable, have you considered like an internship with universities or community college for teachers as well as volunteers?
I love that idea. We were talking about partnering with Mayellis this year, as you have the student teachers who go to Mayellis, but we also have one of our vendors on base, which is called the BASE program. They actually recruit teachers from Miracosta and Palomar to come and work our programs on base. So we do have that partnership happening currently.
And one more question. The 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, the ones that you are training, where are they from exactly?
90% Fallbrook students. So they're all community members. And that's why I think it's such a beautiful thing. We're actually teaching our littles and our bigs. And so one of the evolutions I've had in the program, from the beginning of the program, I really wanted strongly teachers that were academically solid, which they all are. But over the few years, I realized that it's more important to have that mentorship piece, because we're also mentoring our young youth. And to see, I know Mr. Mills' supervisor just got her teaching credential.
She wasn't enrolled when I first started serving. First met her, but we encouraged her, so she's pursuing her teaching credential and wants to work with younger students. And it's really neat because some of our former students are now working in the program, and we're nurturing them and getting them to go to college and get more training. So it's really cool.
So how did they find out about this program, that they're able to be trained into this? Since they're members, do you advertise it out, or is it just word of mouth?
So the staff that we train are all employees of the Boys and Girls Club and or our other partners. Okay. So they're actually third party. But as word gets around, the other thing we noticed this year is the attrition rate that our youth development professionals, that's what they call our young staff, has stayed longer in the positions, and we haven't had as much turnover. And I think it's because of the structure and the training we've provided, because we're trying to empower them too. We want them, we know they're going to be our community leaders as well. So I feel that all our site leads really take that mentorship component very serious, because we know that this is our community, right? And I think not all our YDPs, from what I've heard, loved school. So this is a second chance to show them how they can be leaders, and that there's so many ways to learn and show your intelligence. It doesn't just have to be through pencil and pen and through reading, but there's so many other opportunities in the STEAM world and hands-on.
Awesome. Congratulations.
I love the program,
you.
right? I could talk all day. Thank you.
So thank you for the update and the presentation. This had me thinking of when we launched ELO. I think this was before most of the current board was on. And if you can remind me, or if you can fill in any, some of the information here, but it was partly to mitigate learning loss due to COVID, right? So this was a program essentially to mitigate some of that, right?
Well, I think the way I see it was to even the playing field. So to try to, that's what I call it, try to help our students recoup some of the learning loss. But I think expanded learning itself came from just providing enrichment opportunities for our students.
Right. And I remember one of the goals was to decrease chronic absenteeism. We wanted to offer something in addition to, we wanted to create a school where the kids would look forward to, participating in something. So that was part of the goal. And I'm glad to see that that's being met, yeah.
And we are tracking that. So that has been a big component. That's one of our ELO goals, is to continue to decrease the chronic absenteeism.
And so I'm just wondering, and just in addition to, you said that most of the employees, 90-some%, are from the Boys and Girls Club. Is there any thought or opportunity to give that information for the high school students here in Fallbrook?
Yeah, we actually recruit from the high school, or I know the Boys and Girls Club does. So 90% are from our students that we had, so from our community. Yeah. But we do have 3 partnerships with 3 different vendors. So in town we have ARC, a program that specializes in middle school. They're at Potter Junior High. Then we have the Boys and Girls Club, who help serve our elementary schools. And then on base, we have a program called the BASE program. So we have expanded. It used to just be one partner, community partner, Boys and Girls Club. Now we have 3.
Real quick, I think that was a really good presentation. Thank you. One of the questions I had was, do you have it structured for when they're in after school? Hey, that first hour, let's tutor homework. Is that kind of the structure, or is it they have to volunteer?
No. Our Genius Hour is a must do. So we want to ensure that everyone's getting their independent reading, homework help, and actually this summer we're working on having our own hub of standard-based activities and skills for the kids who say they don't have homework, because we know that there is homework. So we're working on that right now, and hopefully with the addition of IXL, we're looking at how we're going to be using that, and that's digitized math and reading skill games. So it is a must-do.
With that being said, which I'm very happy to hear, it is essentially another hour, a Genius Hour?
Yeah.
That is another hour of instruction the kids are getting.
It is another hour of instruction. And we've worked hard to train our young staff to run it correctly as well. So
also, what is their favorite activity after the Genius Hour other than the video games?
There's so many.
Soccer, probably.
Soccer.
Nobody wants to do hockey, huh?
The hockey specialist.
I would say at Potter, it's the cooking classes.
What's their number one meal?
Oh, well, they make all different types of dishes, but they like to create their own.
Okay.
So that's Potter kids, though.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I want to take just a moment to, you could hear the energy in their voices and their passion for this program. And the program is what it is because of the staff that you see here in the room today and those that provide that service. There's, in addition to being extremely dedicated, they're also really innovative. If a student comes and wants a new club, Lily will figure out how to make it happen, and the team will back her up and figure out how to make it happen. I don't know that I've come to Lily with an idea that she has said no. I come to her with an idea and she adds to it and makes it even better. And so it's something that I feel is such a gift to our Fallbrook community. I've shared this with the board before. My daughter is 8 years old. This isn't an option for her in our school district. And so this is an option for all of our students in Fallbrook. And it's such a great opportunity for our working families that need that additional support. It also, as Lily talked about, provides that level playing field. With 75% of our students living in poverty, they don't always have access to be on the tournament soccer team or to take a cooking class or a ballet class or ballet folklorical class. And so we offer those rich opportunities that are high quality sessions. And summer camp, lots of kids are going all over the place for summer camp. And summer camp, I've had an opportunity to visit summer camp last year, and the sessions that the kids are going to, really compete with any paid summer camp out there across the county as being just high quality and fun. And also we sneak in that academic piece and reading as well. So just big kudos to the team. I'm so proud of all the work that you're doing. Tapka, did you want to share?
Yes, and I also wanted to take a moment to commend the team and echo what Superintendent Hazel mentioned. Lily works relentlessly to align the support in her program to our initiatives. For example, as you recall, last year we rolled out Cozy Corners, books in every classroom. The minute that Lily heard about this, she was ordering the next day. So in her program, every classroom, all children have access to beautiful books throughout the program. We focused on guided reading. The next day, Lily's implementing guided reading in her program. So there is a beautiful balance of enrichment and academics that I have not witnessed in any program in my 25 years, giving away my age, 25 years in education. It's probably, I would say, one of the most powerful programs I've seen. The students absolutely love it. And when they want to come to school because they don't want to miss out on an after-school program, That's the hallmark of success. So I just wanted to commend the entire team for your leadership, your vision, your focus, your dedication, and your commitment to providing these services to students who need it the most. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. So it is recommended the governing board approve the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program Plan for 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? I will call for the vote. Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Pavela?
Aye.
Trustee Goldbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Henson?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so the motion passes. It is recommended the governing board approve the after-school education and safety program plan for the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So I will call for the vote. Any comments first? I will call for the vote. So Trustee Goldbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Henson?
Aye.
Trustee Pavela?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that motion passes. Information, Williams Complaint Fourth Quarterly Report. The fourth quarterly report of Williams Complaints is presented to the governing board as required by the Education Code 35186. We are pleased to report that no complaints were filed with any school or department in the district during the fourth quarter. Moving on. We are pleased to support our teachers and staff to continue their professional learning as they participate in conferences, enabling them to perform their duties and remain up to date on new policies and procedures impacting their roles. Moving on to business services. The next item is on informational report on the district's ending fund balances. Pursuant to the Education Code Section 42127A to B, school districts are required to include a statement for reasons justifying the need to maintain assigned and unassigned ending fund balances that exceed the state-required minimum reserved for economic uncertainties. This statement must be provided for each fiscal year identified in the budget. Tonight's report fulfills that requirement and provides transparency regarding the district's fiscal planning and reserve levels. No board action is required at this time. Moving on. Adoption 2025-2026 budget. It is recommended the governing board adopt the district's 2025-2026 budget and 2024-2025 estimated actuals. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
Any comments? I will call for the vote. Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Pavela?
Aye.
Trustee Henson?
Aye.
Trustee Goldbeck?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that motion passes. Action, resolution number 15-24/25, resolution regarding the education protection account. It is recommended the governing board adopt resolution number 15-24/25, resolution regarding the education protection account. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you. A second?
I second.
Any comments? Okay, I will call for the vote. Trustee Goldbeck?
Aye.
Trustee Pavela?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Henson?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that motion passes. We're going on to consent agenda. Before we move to approve the consent agenda, are there any items a board member would like to pull for separate discussion?
Yes, I'm interested in pulling number 10.
Okay, we will pull number 10 for separate consideration. The remainder of the consent agenda will be voted on at this time. It is recommended the governing board approve the consent agenda as presented, with the exception of item 10, which has been pulled for separate discussion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. So any comments? Okay, I will call for the vote. Trustee Henson?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Pavela?
Aye.
Trustee Golbeck.
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so the motion passes. Next, we will take up consent agenda, item 10, separately. District supplies, sale and/or disposal. It is recommended the governing board approve the surplus of outdated equipment for sale and non-functional equipment to be disposed of appropriately. Do I have a motion?
A motion. Wait, can you repeat that? It was
Do I have a motion?
to discuss.
So that we
Okay.
can do the comments.
I motion.
Okay, a second? Thank you. Now, do we have a discussion and comments on this?
Sure. So this is regarding district surplusing of computers. I think over 100 computers that we, which happens pretty usually throughout the year. But the question that I have was to see what would be the possibility of allowing them to be donated to students. So I wanted to see what whether in whole, the whole surplus, or whether it's half or a certain amount, 50 out of those. We know that they could be auctioned off and bring in a good amount of funds back to the district as well. So keeping that in mind, but I just wanted to see what that could look like, if that was a possibility.
Thank you. This is something that we've had some discussion around, because we recognize that getting technology in the hands of our families is something that's really important to us and has been a barrier in the past for our families. And so the way that the parameters of the law work is that because we utilized public funds to purchase these computers, we're not allowed to give a gift of public funds directly, but we are allowed to surplus the material, and so to put it up for auction and to into a public auction. And we anticipate the value as approximately $100 to $300 per computer that we may recoup. We have 115 computers. They're 8 years old, but they're still, they're still working. They're not computers that we that are eligible for like system upgrades and support that we need to run our programs at the school level, but a general user could, still utilize them. So we're required to go through the surplus process first, and if the value, if it costs us more money to go through the surplus process than we will recoup, then we are allowed to donate them to a nonprofit organization. And so at this time, we do believe that we're going to recoup more money than it'll cost us to go through the process of putting them up for auction. And so we would be required to do that step first. Now, if they don't get sold at auction, so like some of our kitchen equipment that we put up in the past didn't get bid on, and then we're able to make that donation. So we definitely will move forward with that option, because we recognize that our families are still in need.
Thank you.
If I may ask a question? At that point, if it were to be donated, how is it decided? Let's say individuals want it, but then maybe businesses want it. How is it decided?
So the property would be donated to a charitable organization. So we can't donate it directly to students, but we could choose as a board to donate it to a charitable organization, and then they would determine the parameters for distributing the computers.
Thank you.
I think there's a nonprofit specifically for this purpose called Computers for SD Kids. So we might be able to reach out to them if we end up not being able to sell them.
Thank you. Was there anything else you wanted to add? No.
Okay, with that, I will call for the vote. Trustee Henson?
Aye.
Trustee Moran?
Aye.
Trustee Favela?
Aye.
Trustee Golbeck?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so the motion passes. So this meeting is adjourned at 7:10.